As opposed to ROCCAT, who got rid of Saphir, and they now have Tabzz, a very macro, big picture oriented AD carry who likes to meddle a little bit in shot calling. We actually could see what we've been waiting for from ROCCAT, the mid to late game decision making, because early to mid, even in their losses, ROCCAT have shown resilience, tenacity, but they just can't drive it home.
Yeah, Tabzz disappeared for a little bit out of the LCS, but has been remaining in Challenger, where he's been doing fairly well. Failed to qualify into EUCS, but is now in here with ROCCAT, so I want to see what he can do over Saphir. With those first bans coming through, Corki and Lucian, so all of those AD carries, even Quinn and Gray's banned on the other side, it's marked from the season, boys.
Yeah, so we're looking at a Kalista first pick almost. It almost has to be, or at least Kalista pressure. Poppy banned out now, which is a hard counter, or, well yeah, I'd call it a hard counter against Kalista, because it disables the hops, you know, with the combo tool from the ultimate, you pretty much can one-shot her, so ROCCAT eyeing that Kalista first pick pretty hard, and Unicorns, they need to see if they can leave up open enough to trade, maybe get the Fiora back on Vizicsacsi, or if they just straight up ban it and play a very interesting bot lane game then, where we may actually see another Vayne.
It could be very, very interesting. Elise is the final ban as well, aimed at Airwaks, and it could be a plethora of things. Now, when we had that game where pretty much all the AD carries were banned and then Forgiven went on Caitlyn, like, bringing them down to the AD carries and seeing what they can play when these are taken away will be very interesting. First pick as Kalista makes a lot of sense. It just depends what Unicorns of Love do and how much priority they get in the first two picks.
Yeah, we could see a Fiora Alistar rotation here. I definitely think we'll see Alistar being picked up early, because if you give away the Alistar bot lane, you're asking for trouble. The amount of plays that can set up, it lanes well into a lot of things. It's just asking for trouble. So that's one pick. Now what's the second pick for the Unicorns? Kindred's available. You know, we've targeted Graves and Elise, so that could definitely be an option. That still is a flex pick, because with so many good AD carries off the table, Kindred AD carry actually becomes viable.
Only really seen Sven use it yet, but I mean, that was the game that took it out of place, so we'll see if any of the AD carries have picked that up since. Alistar was the other one, as you correctly predicted, coming in for Unicorns, and now waiting for the response from ROCCAT. Let's see where they go now. There's still a lot of good picks available.
Yeah, usually you pick either flex and support here, or you pick support jungle and you match it, because you've already seen part of the jungle. You can remove one of the stronger ones. Not sure what Rudy's gonna pick up here. I'll even please Udyr jungle. No clue what the guy's been playing. Solo queue. Betsy hovering the TF. To that blind is bold, but if you're gonna end up picking blind anyways, you may as well do it early and leave your rooms. You leave your lanes a little more counter pick potential.
Sure.
Definitely isn't a flex though, so hopefully at least ROCCAT gets some sort of flex in this rotation and just picks a safe support.
Well, Lulu actually made it through the bans, so she's going to be picked up here on third rotation, along with Braum for the bottom lane. So that's been picked up. Once again, the flex of Lulu and a support, like you were saying. So pretty much everything going to plan so far for ROCCAT.
Yeah, Betsy played it last night, 2 AM this morning. Played Ignite Lulu in the mid lane solo queue. I know, because we lost. I blame Betsy. No. Some other guy was feeding. But yeah, he played it yesterday. Hopefully he does go teleport, because I'm not the biggest fan of Ignite Lulu. Yes, you can force a little bit in your matchup 1-6, but I feel what you can gain from enabling Lulu as another split push tool, being able to teleport down to the bot lane, provide more utility, I think that's better off.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a great example of that with Nuke going up against Selfie, and he got the kill in lane, great, but then you don't have the teleport for the rest of the game, and it just meant that they couldn't do anything else with it. So yeah, you can pick up the kill there, but teleport definitely good in the long term, especially because Lulu isn't a champion you're going to snowball off your opponent super hard with. Then again, it could be in a different role other than mid lane, we'll just have to see. And those summon spells are subject to change. Now waiting for the next two pickups from ROCCAT, as we have the lock-ins from Unicorns, Viktor and Ezreal. So again, more flex, could be mid, could be AD carry.
Such an annoying lane to play against, Ezreal Alistar. There was one pro player that complained about it, I think it was Mithy, not sure, that we just can remove these Alistar Ezreal lanes from solo queue, because Ezreal probably the safest 1v2 farming laner, because he can just Q spam. And then if he does take a bad trade trying to go for CS, Alistar will just put 2 points in heal him up. It's a good reaction to Braum Kalista. Pretty safe overall. See some play over in LCK too. Yeah. When the Kalista's out of the equation. And then Viktor into Lulu is a matchup we see very often, because it's pretty much a guaranteed early game for Viktor, which is kind of the only level or the only window where you can punish him before he becomes a late game powerhouse, where he does a lot more damage in the team fights. Lulu does the utility. So Unicorns looking for a late game scaling composition so far.
Ah, interesting. So we have the Hylissang picked up, kind of nothing out of the normal there, but a Maokai locked in. And now, this is the first time we've seen the Maokai here, but in EUCS has been picked up. In LCK, even we saw CJ Enters pick it up in the top lane. Had pretty good success as well, and has been great into some of the picks we've seen recently.
Yeah, I don't like the Maokai though.
I like it.
Because it's so... When you play a protect the AD carry composition, and all your eggs are on the AD carry basket, it almost has to be like a hyper carry in the late game. Kalista is not a late game hyper carry. I mean, okay, this is arguing semantics. Somebody's gonna take that quote, put it on all. It's like, Kalista, not a late game hyper carry. In this lineup, it's incredibly hard, especially because she won't be able to get a kill immediately against the Kindred ultimate, and then she just risks getting blown up by the Viktor AoE. Now Gangplank comes in. ROCCAT's lineup will run out of steam, so they need to spike in the mid game. They need to make picks with the Hylissang. They need to flank and make use of the aggressive engage of the Maokai to then enable Tabzz to carry in the mid game. If they slow down the game on the sides of Unicorns and it goes late, Viktor, Gangplank, Blue Ezreal, they all outscale their counterparts, and suddenly ROCCAT will be in trouble.
Difficulties here for sure. I am definitely biased because I love Maokai. It's my most played champion for some reason. But yeah, 20 seconds left on here. Maybe missing a beat with Gangplank being left up as well. That could be a difficult matchup in the top lane. We'll see as we are about to get into game very shortly.
Yeah, looking at summoners here, Hylissang still with the Ignite.
Yeah.
Bold. When you play against the hyper carry composition and there's only one real exhaust target, that you then just get so much value from exhausting, generally, it's worth running exhaust.
I just saw Sheepy there. I wonder if he can keep up that strategic play as Rudy comes in once again. And we have those rosters. So make sure to join the discussion on Twitter. Hashtag ROCWin and hashtag URLWin.
I love this graphic. Can you guess that Pokemon?
Yeah.
Who's that Pokemon?
Hi, it's Rudy.
As we're loading into the game, we'll have a brief pause at the start of the game so we can look at some of these interactions. Yeah. Betsy ended up playing the Ignite Lulu. Fox ended up playing the Ignite Viktor. Both champions can be argued for actually running either a defensive summoner or teleport, but they seem very selfish. Looks like they're playing these utility or either scaling late laners, but none of them want to back up. It's like, no, I will win this lane.
Yeah.
Pre-6, I will take you down with Ignite.
But it's selfish as well into a matchup which is Viktor Lulu. So it's just like, well, wild growth, and then also movement speed from Fox and zoning tools. So very interesting to see in the mid lane. Implies they may be looking for like the 1v2s if they have jungler interaction, or if they go from roam as well. But yeah, Ignites in the mid lane on Viktor and Lulu. So I want to see how Maokai does as well. Seeing Maokai come back is good. He's been out of the meta for a while. He's just simply outclassed by the other tanks we've been seeing. Malphite, for example, Tam Kent, so much utility. And Maokai, he's kind of stuck and rooted in his own ways. His old ways, rather. Yeah,
Fox right now, we need to see if he can prove himself on a champion that is not Zed overall. He's done fine so far in the season, exceeded expectations. Many people thought he was just a remnant of the past, you know, had his time, didn't really shine. Many people just in general thought that the Unicorns of Love did not have a carry in the team. Then Diamond came in and he kind of supplemented. If everybody was a 0.8 out of 1 carry, then Diamond, you know, fulfilled that remaining 0.6 to make 3 carries out of that team. But now he's gone. Joko replaced him. Rudy is in right now. Has a damage. Maybe that's why his laners are all playing Ignite, because they just want to make him feel comfortable when he ganks that there is damage on the lanes. It's a different dynamic to play a more safe style with Exhaust. It's also interesting that they go for a slow early game and aim for the late game when they have a more solo queue player in there.
Yeah.
Solo queue not known for stalling elegantly. You may stall, but
indeed,
it will be in a different fashion. So we need to see how just the macro plays out, or if ROCCAT go for a lane swap, because junglers can get very confused in lane swaps.
I mean, you can't just fashion your team around the fact you have a solo queue player in the jungle. However, at the same time, they didn't do that with Joko. However, he did have that backing before. With Rudy here, can he fulfill that role? We'll have to see. Taking his headset off there.
Yeah, Rudy back on stage right now. Take a little bit of break. Maybe nervous. Who knows?
Could be anything.
Could be a wealth of things. But yeah, maybe just had to do a little dance backstage. We could have seen a lane swap here, though, from ROCCAT. They didn't draft the composition that kind of likes lane swapping, because if you speed up to the mid game, it's kind of hard to force into a Viktor when that mid lane tower will always be defended. You kind of have to dive him.
Right.
And Kalista Braum kind of wants to lane, even though it's a dead lane. We need to see what happens once we actually get in game.
Yeah, indeed. Still currently paused. Don't have an update on what it is currently, but there was a cheer, so hopefully that is signs of good things to come. Unicorns of Love just been performing really well recently. Again, biggest thing is just how Rudy will perform whether he goes too aggressive in the early game, because those lanes will not facilitate him in the way that he wants to. We'll see as we get into this game very shortly.
Yeah, the players are ready. We are turning our chairs, which means that we look into the camera, we even point at it, because the screen's right there, and we are going into game.
Thank you for that intro, Krepo.
We always have our producer turn around.
Look beautiful.
Look into the camera.
Can't do that second
Show
one.
it some love. We try.
Yeah, and fail.
Welcome to Summoner's
We have a straight Martin Deficial Lunger here.
So,
hello.
As we're trying to cast this game, Deficial is like scavenging between the desks because he's looking for something. Trying to find his badge. Alright, Deficial, any
Good
opinions?
stuff.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Deficial can't find his badge.
That's unfortunate. I don't really have anything to offer you here. The teams are really just spacing out right now, and got that pink ward going down.
Alright, so no lane stops, but it does seem that ROCCAT is at least preparing for one potentially, or predicting the counter swap. We obviously have no insight in what they're doing. I do think it is the right approach to go for a lane swap against the solo queue jungler, because we can map out level 1 to 3, but then later on, he just doesn't know what to do. You can only tell him so much before he has to start reacting in a macro, in a big picture environment in the LCS.
Well, Steelback is just waiting at base here. I wonder if standing in front of the minions will do anything.
He just wants to walk to the lane as late as he can, which is with the minion waves. They sent in the Alistar early to potentially confuse people, so this is like double mind games going on. ROCCAT, on the other hand, is going for the delayed invade, 139, so they want to stop the camp. So they're initiating the lane swap here, and they want to get information, you know. Is the bot lane doing the camp? Is the double jungle doing the camp? Well, Smite's been used, so they can actually duel for this.
Yeah, may have to just kind of back off here, and that's going to be rendered. I believe it was Chachi got up. Yeah, 81 gold over to him, and now this camp is resetting, putting them behind, and Extinkt will stay up there to pressure them away from it, and now Unicorns of Love have to adapt on the fly.
Yeah, so they're chased out of their jungle, whereas if you look at the Unicorns, they're starting in their own, ROCCAT rather, they're starting in their own red jungle, uncontested. So this is the equivalent of a 3-buff almost, if Extinkt keeps being a pesky little annoying brat, but he's actually leaving that jungle. So there's still some camps to Unicorn. It doesn't matter as much in this meta where it's a very early 3-man group and the jungler solos, because there's just too many camps for him to take all at once. But it's a little bit of a win for ROCCAT at least.
Now Unicorn can go back onto their red. They actually went for the Raptors there just after that. Also noted that Rudy went for that pink ward at level 1 and picked up the health potion on top of that instead of opting for 2 extra ones, because he is a ranged jungler and also going for the double jungle, so he's not going to be dropping low, and Chachi will take the brunt of that. Going to take a look at Keystones real quick. Nothing really out of the ordinary here. Is Gangplank gone for Grapsity and dying? Very good, as you just shoot people with Parley and you get the health back at range. Jungle going for Strength for the Ages though on Rudy, so going for slightly tankier stats. And then everything is pretty much the same. Hylissang going for Wind Speakers as well is something to note.
Gone are the days of the Penta Thunderlords. Finally, we see some diversity. Good choices here. Definitely love Wind Speakers on Alistar, especially if you play against a team that wants a team fight. So your choice, when you go for the Masteries, either you go Bond of Stone, if you're playing against very assassin type of types, or people that want to take one carry down in the team fight that you want to protect, that's when you go Bond of Stone. But when you play against a team fight composition, Wind Speakers, 5-man heal, you give 1,000, 2,000 gold worth of stats to your team. Definitely the right choice.
And Airwaks taking down that pink board, obliterated. Top lane now is going to go down to ROCCAT, and bottom lane should be falling at the same time. Chachi gets it.
Chachi gets it. I do like it when top laners freeze a tiny bit, but then push it out. I think that's still the best choice. There's always a play to be made where that ends up in your favor. Just want to get as much farm early on Vizicsacsi as we can. We see a correct bounce here, hopefully on the side of ROCCAT 2. Ready, not screwed up. Yep, that lane pushes, but because they're behind the play, Freddy actually has to push really quickly right now, or otherwise Steelback will just start zoning him off the wave. Hylissang in support. Rudy, yeah, we can see here a little less hesitation. Rudy should not path this way. You saw him path up and then have to go down because he's confused. He's not quite sure where he has to be on the map.
Also doesn't know where the information is. He skirts around that ward being placed down, but he knew there was someone in that jungle placing down wards. So he successfully gets out of the way of that one. And now onto the Raptors. What if he smites it, going for the Razor Sharp buff early into the game? Airwaks is... did he smite? No, he did not. So he doesn't have the Razor Sharp.
He's just going to try and find some information. We see Freddy basing right now. ROCCAT's bot lane move where they belong, back to the bot lane. just keep your eyes on Vizicsacsi, you know. Can he grow that CS lead against Ready? Can he scale into the middle parts of the game? Again, Unicorns want to slow down the wave pushes, the team fights by just using the Viktor wave clear, using the cannon barrage where necessary. Rudy going here on a bit of a counter jungle with the backup from Hylissang. That is something Hylissang has improved tremendously in his play. His plays are no longer solo roams, they're in synergy with the jungler. And he's done that with 2 different jungles now, 3 in total, so that's definitely an improvement this season on the side of the Unicorns.
Yeah, and an upgrade before because he used to roam lane as the ship was sinking. And now this time, like, the lane can hold its own. He's actually just going because it makes sense to, rather than just going on the fly.
Yeah, Vizicsacsi pushed out the wave in the bottom, got a couple more CS compared to Freddy because the Unicorns were a little quicker. He bases, now he joins his team for the reverse mirror again on the top side. Again, this speeds up the goal for the Unicorns. They get quicker into the mid game. They get more access to early items for Vizicsacsi. Yes, it does open up the map, and that's usually where teams try to punish you in the mid lane. But because you're playing against the Viktor and a potential cannon barrage, ROCCAT may find issues opening up that mid lane tower. So that is something you need to look for.
Well, bottom tower and top tower should be traded here very quickly. Both the junglers are actually just in each other's junglers, taking most of their camps, so just kind of swapping up on the map right now. Interesting to note that Rudy went for Strength of the Ages. Oh, mid lane, no, Betsy. The ultimate comes down. Fox is actually being chased out. The Ignite may be paying dividends. He drops low, but he's out of there. Both of them do not burn the Ignite. Fox actually burns the flash over his Ignite as the towers fall in the side lanes.
Betsy forces that wave right there. He gets the Ignite for the flash. Luckily, for on the side of Unicorns, there's nobody to join on that play. Imagine if there was a sort of rotation coming up. Betsy forces out Fox, and then the tower is exposed. Unicorns right now picking up an early Herald. Not much benefit from it, really. They're not going to be able to push in and siege too much. So you can see how well Chachi can survive right now. Tabzz on a long lane, level 4. Can definitely win that 1v1.
Rudy went for Strength of the Ages in the jungle. I'm going to hold that for a second as Extinkt will find Chachi. Hit him with the Winter's Bite, but oranges come out and Chachi will have to find a different position to retreat. Rudy actually leaves that ward up to live for another day. Maybe Hylissang gets it? Nope.
Oh, you don't see that ward, by the way, right there. That doesn't show in the tower. You can place it in between. It's right around the corner. It's one of my favorite wards to place because people, don't expect it to be there ever because they always assume the tower sees it. It's actually right around a little edge there and a cliff. You can do this in between any tier 1 and tier 2 towers anywhere on the map. There are points where you can place them in between around the edges. Because the ward itself doesn't see the tower, therefore the tower can't see it either. But it's a really good ward to place in the early game, especially if you want to avoid placing wards in the whole tower.
Today I learned. That's a cool one. Rudy and Hylissang taking away this red buff. Extinkt up to the north side, maybe cutting off their escape. Freddy is a little slow to the punch, and they'll just be able to take away this ward. Still hanging around this jungle, especially as Airwaks is coming in. They do have the support of Steelback, who is very close. Just a lot of wards being traded back and forth. Hylissang and Rudy. Duo. Both of these duos from both teams. The fake out coming in from Airwaks. Trying to bait out that pulverize, but the cow was too smart.
Yeah, look what Unicorns have done with this Herald buff. Again, these minions are not tankier, so they will die to the AoE. But Steelback is at least pressuring one lane with the buff. It leaves Tabzz solo as Kalista in the top lane. Nobody to enable that W passive. And Vizicsacsi, if he survives right here, Unicorns can cement a good early game. Betsy going for a trade though. Fox having to be careful. If he keeps dying, or he keeps taking these trades in the mid lane, Fox, we could actually see that rotation from ROCCAT in the mid lane, and then that tower can fall. So, crucial goal for Unicorns is to keep the mid lane tower alive and make it so that Chachi survives in the top lane. ROCCAT, they want to break open the game. They want to find a fight somewhere.
Unicorns secure the dragon, despite them potentially having the advantage there as Lulu was pushing out the middle lane and they had Freddy in the bottom lane, but there was no vision for ROCCAT, so they couldn't go for that one.
And you can definitely tell that Betsy understands his purpose in his game right now in the way he itemizes. He's not going for a Catalyst rush, where he just wants to, tie farm, make sure he gets sustained. Hang on, Airwaks here.
The burst coming out for Fox. This might be a decision he regrets and has to jump to Betsy to burn his ultimate to keep him alive. There's the Ezreal ultimate. Once again, dropping Airwaks low. Do you have any more globals? Chachi's already used his ultimate, unfortunately.
Teleport would be the only thing. Yeah, good turnaround right there. Almost killing Fox. We need to see if there's more wave clear coming in the mid lane. And look at Betsy as well, Blasting one, 2 Dorans, and a mana Sapphire Crystal rather, just to get more combat stats. aggressively. He just wants to keep baiting onto Fox. He doesn't care about health. He doesn't care about defensive stats. He just wants to go ham.
Airwaks versus Merkwolves. Airwaks wins and will be helping donate his blue buff over. In terms of jungle build, Rudy is slightly ahead, just picked up the warrior enchant, but Airwaks has some gold as he recalls and most likely do so very soon. There we go. And because he went for Strength of Aegis as well, that will probably support the way he itemizes very well, because typically a Kindred jungle will itemize very similar to like a Graves or a Quinn, for example, with the Maw and the Sterax, and maybe even a Ghostblade thrown in there as well. But it's fairly like glass cannon, but very good at not being instantly bursted. And then with the Strength of the Aegis, just kind of helps that, gives you more time to pop your ultimate, and then you can survive and go for a trade.
Yeah, if you look at the game, the way it's playing out, ROCCAT open up both tier 1 towers early. Good, they get the map. But they're struggling to get the deep vision they need to force the next play. We're looking at a 30 CS advantage between Vizicsacsi and Freddy, and that should not happen when you're running a tank, because Maokai is tanky and is engaged, but if he's this far behind in CS, he's just going to melt in fights, and he doesn't offer any damage. As you're looking at Vizicsacsi comfortably farming up right now. Has another 1.5k gold in the bank that he's ready to spend. He's not even being forced to shop. He's getting that much just, yeah, leeway from the opposing team. So ROCCAT, they're finally moving in. They're grouping in for deep vision. This is setting up a play that they want to make. Either catch somebody rotating, set up a flank. Betsy continuously has the pressure here in mid. Fox is just stuck right here in the tower. Steelback is trying to match that pressure in the bot lane, force somebody from ROCCAT to peel away from that united squad, you know. Split them up. Make sure that they play the wave clear game and stall the game. That's the Unicorns' goal. But the ROCCAT, they want to find an opening, force play somewhere.
Now, divide and conquer. Currently, Unicorns of Love are slightly ahead in this game. 1,000 gold. All of that is literally just from farm in the lanes. I believe Dragon will be coming in 2 minutes, as we heard from production. But don't trust that number. Could be wrong.
No, they were actually right. I just couldn't count in my head.
Oh, okay,
I lied.
okay. Man, you turned me against production. It was you.
Yep. Mutiny.
Ah, well. In the top lane, Extinkt. That's going to be seen out here by Steelback. Level 5, by the way, so is Hylissang, so don't have the ultimates just yet if you get involved in a fight. But, yeah, Rudy into the enemy jungle once again.
When the entire goal of your team comp is to stall at the late game and your jungler is hiding it for an assassination attempt in the jungle, you may think that you're not on the same page.
Maybe, but Rudy is
actually going to try
waiting for a victim.
Look what they're doing. They're group sieging in the mid.
And
they're waiting to find Tabzz your face check.
Walking past Rudy, and here comes the engage. He's dropping low and has the E ready to go. There's the ultimate from Chachi, and Tabzz is going to be retreating underneath the tower. Ultimate from Steelback. Will it connect? Not quite. Tabzz with the sidestep. He knew that one was coming.
So this is actually impressive from Unicorns. They forced play in the mid, and they know that ROCCAT will send over the AD carry to react, so they wait for him in the wings. They use Cannon Barrage too. Force the flash from Tabzz. Rudy not forced to use any summoners, and this buys so much time because that dragon that was 2 minutes earlier will now be soon. I'm not going to use any absolute terms.
Okay.
And then Unicorns can set up, take the second dragon, or let ROCCAT take it and just set up the waves in the top lane. Because they got that first dragon, so valuable for them. And they haven't lost their mid lane power yet. And ROCCAT, they're struggling to find an opening. Rudy even steals the enemy red buff here.
Taking that one away, he'll head back into his river. Top lane, Freddy is building towards an Iceborne Gauntlet. I wanted to see what his item build was, because in Challenger we saw a Rod of Ages. In LCK we've seen Righteous Glory. That Sentinel did actually not catch Rudy as he went back, so no information gained there by ROCCAT. But yeah, Iceborne Gauntlet from Freddy. Well, you know, fairly good itemization against the Gangplank there. You can also juke out the way of his barrels with Twisted Advance, because it does make you untargetable. But you have to get the timing very right.
Yep. You can even dodge Cardus ulti with it. Yeah, do it right. No Cardus in this game, so that actually doesn't matter.
But someday soon.
One day you may find yourself caught.
And now you know. So you try it and you come up too soon. You have to try and get it when you're the furthest away from what you're trying to jump to, because it gives you more time where you're untargetable instead of going point blank and it's like, well, that was unlucky. Rudy jungles once again. Extinkt is there to be jumped to from Airwaks. Responds with Winter's Bite. That's the Q. Airwaks' body is telling him no, so he'll listen to it.
Yeah, 4 people in the mid lane. No instant wave clear just yet from the Viktor, so they're gonna chip away at the tower, at least a couple hits. You really want to combine some wave clear until Viktor is strong enough to immediately evaporate that wave. Because that tower is what's keeping Unicorns alive. Because when that falls, ROCCAT can push it further and take complete control of either side of the jungle. They have the liberty to do that with their more early game teamfight oriented composition. Unicorns doing a fantastic job so far. They secure their own blue buff. Yes, it doesn't go to Fox, but it's still good on the Kindred jungle. And ROCCAT are really looking to force this play. No flank wards either for TP from Freddy, so they just keep knocking on the front door, but it doesn't work if 4 people are ready to answer it.
Yeah, currently from ROCCAT though, they want to hit those item spikes because top lane has not hit the Iceborne yet. Bot lane Tabzz has not hit his Blaze of Ruin King. They're sitting on components while Unicorns of Love already hit their spikes, so they want to wait for a little bit.
Yeah, we have to remember, if we talk early to late game and at which point you get outscaled, ROCCAT's composition up to like 30 minutes still has a really good chance of doing a lot in the winning teamfights. We see Airwaks flanking here. This may be a bit of an overstep from Unicorns. So Hylissang goes in for the aggressive combo.
Airwaks with the pre-set up ward.
They can zone him off now and actually use the next wave coming in if they can zone him for long enough. That's the cost of going aggressive, but Betsy's afraid to tap in to the darkness. Fox has to go around the safe way. He should be in time through this wave, but these are the games these guys are playing. Trying to zone them off from mid lane. Use that mid wave that's coming in to chip away at the tower.
I really like early Swifties by most of Unicorns of Love because most of the CC on ROCCAT is slow-based. So getting that early on before they get into a fight for additional skirmishes is actually really nice here. So they have that on 3 members. Distortion Boots even picked up by Hylissang, getting that early on as well so it affects your first flash. It's also really nice, so when they go for that initial engage, he'll be able to go for another one way sooner than he normally would be able to. Steelback in middle lane, just continuing to farm these minions. Still slight advances in all the lanes apart from mid lane where Betsy was getting better at Fox. But overall, Unicorns are still slightly ahead, edging further and further ahead, ever so slightly, very, very small.
It did come at the cost of some stacks here for Rudy, though. That's only his 2nd stack that he's picked up this game. So a little slower paced, but the fact that the Unicorns are actually getting buffs on the other side of the map is very impressive, the way they're playing this game. And most of it comes to the early denial they put on Freddy. If he's behind in a matchup as a tank and a mid-game spike type of champion, and he can't put any pressure, it just loses you so much momentum.
Airwaks again with the fake out, and gets the ultimate from Chachi there. Now with the blue buff going towards them, patience meter is going to run down very soon, so they're not going to get that one.
They just have to make sure they're back in time in mid lane. This blue buff doesn't matter. Because what do you get with blue buffs? You get more spells. Why do you need more spells? To wave clear more. But if you're not in position to wave clear, it doesn't matter how much mana regen you have.
Some wise words there, Krepo. Maybe they'll heed them, move into the middle lane to block the siege coming in from ROCCAT. And there goes the wave.
Yeah, ROCCAT rotating for the dragon. Unicorns don't care. We get one dragon to get a little bit stronger, but we need to see more deep vision. Something Deficio likes talking about at length. Deep vision for teleports, for flank wards. ROCCAT trading that dragon for a herald buff, so they can put one guy with that buff in the side lanes and just force ROCCAT to react, split them up, divide and conquer as we call it. Very, very stale, repetitive early narrative. They may have actually overreached here, because Extinkt can block that laser with his spell shield. Now the tower falls.
Goodbye tower. Okay, ROCCAT just make the simple approach. Take dragon, go mid lane, take the tower. 3 people committed to the herald from Unicorns of Love and a recall as well out of Chachi, out of Hylissang. Means they actually just can't defend that tower.
Yeah, and this is actually an interaction we haven't pointed out yet, but obviously Viktor laser counts as a projectile, so it does stop at the Braum shield. Which means if Extinkt walks the front of the wave, they can just deny the wave clear and force that tower. They probably should have even done that way sooner. Unicorns get a little greedy by going for that herald.
Yeah, like Fox even went for the early aftershocks as well, so you can clear those waves out. But yeah, now Chachi going back into the top lane. He's just gearing up for his standard build. Freddy has now completed the Iceborne, now looking for some magic resist as well. Went for the double Darns in lane, which is a really nice pickup for some AP top tank laners.
Yeah, and the triple boot trinket here coming out from ROCCAT. This is not something you expect from a team that wants to play the deep vision game with the teleport wards. You cannot teleport on these blue wards. And when you're a team in control, kinda, you shouldn't have that much risk of face taking.
Oh, that feels bad. Chachi mistiming the barrel explosion there with his parlay. Chachi potentially caught out. Pops his ultimate now, but he's in kill range even through the damage reduction. But it's enough time for Unicorns to respond with a kill of their own onto the enemy support. Can they get any more? The laser comes through and Freddy will be dropping. Airwaks dropping low as well as the Gangplank ultimate files in with the rest of Unicorns of Love. That's a 2-for-1 as he sees down the middle turret.
Yeah, look at the damage coming out there from Fox and Rudy on that Kindred jungle. Still has his ultimate available. Mid lane tower falls down because the Herald buff is still on Steelback. And ROCCAT, they engage team fight where they have Maokai somewhat flanking. They use a lot of flashes, wild growths, and ultimates. Come out on the losing end. Things are looking grim.
Yeah, Unicorns of Love picking up 2 fast towers off those 2 kills. And Freddy just simply is not tanking enough against that AP damage. You can see the whole thing from the start once again.
So yeah, Freddy is coming in. Extinkt on the side lane, but they're engaging on Hylissang. There's one guy you don't want to hit. It's probably the Alistar. Look at the return damage here. AoE, knock up, AoE from Fox. Laser comes out. Rudy can use his ulti at his discretion, but he doesn't care enough about his support to save him. And the follow-up damage, really good hold by Vizicsacsi, honestly, on that cannon barrage. Just used it when it needed. Unicorns were in complete control of that fight.
Airwaks has been caught out. The flash, the pulverize, and the laser. The aftershocks, the Q from Fox, and the Lee Sin goes down.
Yeah, and that is pretty much it for ROCCAT. There's so little plays left that they can make. Tabzz is not strong enough to do anybody. He's got to finish Bort, tier 3 boots, and the makings of Runehans, but he's already facing a 2-item Ezreal. We have a combat-ready Viktor, and we have a jungler that deals more damage on the side of Rudy versus Airwaks. Unicorns were actually giving ROCCAT one opportunity to get back into the game by starting this somewhat risky Baron.
One chance. One opportunity, can ROCCAT take it? Betsy coming in from the side, but Extinkt and Freddy are getting blown up, and they'll just turn away from Baron, kill him, and in fact, Alistar's still on the Baron, keeping the health at the same place. Now ROCCAT reconverge onto the Baron pit, but I don't think it's a little too soon, or a little too late rather. Hylissang goes down, but it's a 1-for-1 trade, and the Baron goes over to Rudy, who secures it with Smite. Extinkt drops low, so does ROCCAT, looking for a potential chase, but it's not going to pan out. And there goes the Baron over to the Unicorns of Love.
Yeah, and this is where we really have to start praising the Unicorns organization in terms of the members that they've picked up, because this shot calling, this decisive play going for Baron, these turnarounds and calm and collected team fights is nothing compared to what we've seen last season from the Unicorns. This would have been chaos everywhere. Yep. The Unicorns attempted a 22-minute Baron last season. Fox moves up close to his own. Look at Hylissang. Identifies that his team's winning the play, and he just keeps the Baron alive. If he moved out right there, Baron would have reset. So everybody working towards the same goal. His team also doesn't chase. Last year's Unicorns may well have chased all the way into the enemy base, realized their support is now dead in Baron pit, and then had to make another play. Again, Cannon Barrage being held to. So Unicorns on top of their game, and apparently it's due to some of the macro input from Steelback too. Using his time in Fnatic and in North America to learn more about the intricacies of the game and help in the shot calling department.
Rudy, again, aggressive in the jungle, and this is something you would expect from a solo queue player, like getting into the enemy jungle, but it's in unison with his team. That's what's so impressive. Unicorns of Love somehow plugging and playing junglers in, and it's working out fine, is really fantastic to see, because as you alluded to, it would have been spaghetti all over the floor last season.
Now, spaghetti, yeah, maybe. That's their dinner of choice. Yeah. But we still have to see what they do against more like composed teams, I would say, because ROCCAT haven't looked too great. They're on the verge. Yeah, of only winning one game in the first round robin here of the LCS. So they pick an early game composition with a spike. They pick Ignite on their mid laner that continuously helps out, force out Fox. They have a tool to stop the laser, but they realize too late. They find an opening in that mid lane tower, but it ends up costing them 2 more. Look at this top lane right now too. Complete lockdown here. And the Unicorns, they were looking to do this at maybe minute 30 in the game, maybe minute 32. Not 23 minutes in the game already.
And now Freddy heads into the top lane, and what can he really do against a Gangplank who is 70 farm ahead of him?
I mean, he's playing Maokai.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do. You have like 2 buttons that you press and you go for your team, and you hope your team cleans up, and that's it. If you're 70 CS down, gonna stand there and watch him farm.
This is a late pick as well from ROCCAT, who are going to lose their bottom tower. Airwaks gets caught. Hylissang's right in there once again. He may go down, but not before the jungler does. And a big ultimate coming in from Fox will chunk the lineup. Again, the Gangplank ultimate being held. This is just Rudy. A massacre for UOL, and they are chasing down the remaining members. Rudy is going to be backing off here with his team, and they should be able to at least take this in here. They are dropping low.
Yeah, look at those player cams. That's the face of a stone-cold jungle-only killer.
Yep.
Deathless so far on that Kindred. 3-0 and 2. Came to play.
He really did. He told them, hi, I'm Rudy. And then he killed 3-0-2 in this game. 5 out of those 7 kills he's been participating in. Really, really cool to see. Fox, though, has been involved in every single one of them, so that's also interesting.
Now, Fox did a fantastic job in that team fight, turning around, getting Chaos Storm up. And again, Hylissang is tanking the damage. Notice how Hylissang, when he approaches Airwaks, he could go for the combo, but he just wants to secure the kill. Q flash, knock backwards, soak up the damage. He goes down to about 20% in this team fight. Remember, he's proccing Wind Seekers in this entire fight. He survives. Chaos Storm comes out, and everybody's on the run. Like, even if Hylissang dropped here, still would have been a good play. So ROCCAT misplaying by continuously focusing the tank support, but also Unicorns doing a great job of leaving ROCCAT with very little answers to their plays.
Look at the nerve as well in Rudy. I don't think I've even seen an ultimate go down from him yet, because 2 members dropped so low in that last fight, and he still didn't use it. Braum power play, 7,782 gold.
I mean, he's playing on a new keyboard likely, you know? So maybe...
Oh yeah, I can't see the
maybe he just had the binding wrong. He doesn't believe you need to have more than 3 buttons in LCS.
I mean...
See, I'll body these fools. I don't need these spells. I'm playing Kindred.
I mean, like, he hasn't died yet in this game. Okay, his support has died twice, and okay, he could have saved him, but it's ultimately for the person who's using it, right? So...
Yeah. Also, interesting build going Sterex with Maw. It rewards you for eating up damage. Because
quickly,
many people don't really notice about what the passive is on Maw and Moshers, but it gives you attack speed, spell vamp, and lifesteal once the shield procs until you leave combat. With Kindred ulti, that is, yeah, so fantastic. You just continuously stay in combat for absolute ages. So a really good item build, especially with the Sterex too, so I like it.
Yeah, it's really cool. Now being pushed into the top inhibitor, Unicorns of Love, but there's the engage by ROCCAT, just trying to get one last swing of it as the minions are closing in on the Nexus turret. Extinkt goes down, Airwaks will be soon to follow. Everyone is just getting destroyed from ROCCAT. There's nothing they can do. You can just kiss that old Unicorns of Love goodbye, because this new one is here. Rest in spaghetti, never forgetty, and they'll be going for this Nexus turret and closing in for the win. Unicorns of Love taking it over ROCCAT.
And Rudy finally uses his ultimate. Nexus pops. That's it for the Unicorns. Fantastic game overall.
The man on your screen right there, Rudy, coming into the Unicorns of Love, and honestly just playing perfectly with the Kindred coming into the jungle. So well played.
Yeah, it's plus 27 LP.
Juicy, juicy LP. Got those games.
You just gotta wonder, ROCCAT, where does it go from here? Obviously plagued with that visa issue on Edward, you know, lost their starter support. Whipped out Tarek week 1, you know, made me eat my words. Went through the whole fridge comment, but then after that, nothing too great. They do well against teams like H2K. They kept the game even for so long, and then they play against the Unicorns and they just completely fall apart. They draft rather, yeah, a hyper carry composition on Kalista with a Maokai in the top lane, but they find no deep wards, no teleport attempts. We've seen 1 teleport into a fight from Freddy that was just too forced. Airwaks did not find a flank as he did in that last fight. They just couldn't find an opening. Unicorns did a fantastic job defending that mid tower. A team should not be allowed to defend mid tower the way Unicorns did. Take the early dragons, take the early Rift Heralds, deny you the enemy blue buffs, and get away with it. Unicorns somehow did all this, so very, very impressed with their early game here.
I thought ROCCAT had an opening when they took that middle turret when Herald was being taken out by Unicorns, but they could never capitalize. They could never do anything after that. The new player coming in, Tabzz over Sophia, 1-0-0. Not much he could really do in that game. Top jungle, mid, had an okay game, but they just couldn't do anything when they grouped up. They couldn't push their advantage, even if they ever had one. And Unicorns of Love just closed it out. Boils
down to the lane swap. ROCCAT initiated that lane swap. Extinkt kind of stopped the unicorns in the enemy jungle, but then kind of went back to his lane. He could have interrupted that double jungler for way longer because supports are not needed this early in lane. And it did seem that ROCCAT was a little lost because there's no way Gangplank should get that massive of a CS lead, especially in a very sensitive matchup rather, like Gangplank into the Maokai, but it happened.
It does happen, and we're going to send it over to the